Ladies and gentlemen, it's Porter Party time. Nah, it's not my dance move. I'm not it's not my generation. Yeah, the older one. That was your thing. Weird dance move. But welcome to MIM Sports. I'm your host, Ronald M. It's good to have you, man. Thank you for those who have subscribed the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Press like on the video. Yes, that's what you do when you come to YouTube on my channel. Don't forget. But before we get into the Porter parting, let's pass our condolences to the British royal family and also the 14 Commonwealth countries. I think it's 14, yeah. Those who celebrated Queen or acknowledged Queen Elizabeth II as their queen. She passed away today, late in the evening. I mean, it was trending. Everything these days just trends on Twitter. As you see it trending on Twitter, no, there's a bit of fire there, and it was eventually confirmed that she did pass away today. She was 96 years old. That's 4 years short of a century. That's quite long. She did experience basically almost the 20th century history. I mean, she fought against Hitler, against the Russian guy. Was it Solini? I think so, yes. My history is a bit shaky. But, when it depends on who you talk to. In some parts of Africa, obviously, they'll tell you about horrible stories which Britain did during the colonial eras and how they're still contributing to, let's not get into politics. This is not a political show. But yeah, we do respect what she did. If you think about it from the perspective of the British people, she did push the British agenda on the world, the Western agenda on the world, which for them is what they believe in. So that's what great leaders do, I think. Anyway, let's get back right into football. It is Porter party time at Stamford Bridge. Todd Boehly got the man he wanted. Last night, the whole of yesterday, rumors came out flying that Porter was the guy they wanted. They spoke to the Brighton board and the owners and staff, and they went for the man. It is believed, or it's rumored, it's reported that they told Boehly to pay £21 million for a coach. That's like a signing. If you think about it, that's a signing. Yeah, look at Christensen. It wasn't even it was a free signing for Man United, but it's doing wonders. So I think that's money well spent by Todd Boehly. It's interesting though the time frame which it took, because normally you see teams or clubs fire a coach and then you think they don't have a plan B, or they don't have a perfect candidate ready to come in place of the departed manager, and it takes them like a week or 2 weeks. We've seen it in the past seasons, but then it took less than 48 hours to get Porter in after Tuchel had been sacked. So I think Todd really identified who he wanted and he went after the guy and he got him. I think if Barcelona had wanted Graham Potter, then yeah, things would have got complicated, because as we've seen in the transfer window, yeah, Barca has really handed some good hidings with player signings and stuff. But it's quite interesting to get to talk about Graham Potter. If you look at the footballing system Tuchel implemented at Chelsea, the 3 at the back or 5 at the back, Potter does play that a lot. To be fair, he does. So I don't think the players will be a bit confused. Maybe when it comes to the tactical awareness and how he sets up his team, maybe it might be a bit different. But then we've seen Chelsea players being comfortable at 3 at the back rather than at 4 at the back. So I think with that in mind, it will work properly for Chelsea players already there. It's going to be interesting to see how he handles the whole Cucurella system, because Cucurella had to sort of force a move out of Brighton. And I don't think Porter might have been too pleased by that. So unless if for him he's just buried under the new edge and he's ready to work. Having Porter at Chelsea, my feelings towards it, I think it's a good appointment. Yes, Todd made the decision to get rid of Tuchel, who obviously wasn't his coach. He didn't bring Tuchel in, he found Tuchel there. And I think Tuchel did serve his purpose in the sense that when the club was transitioning with new power coming in, he did play that role where he kept everything, kept the ship steady to a certain extent. So with Porter coming in, I think it's an exciting time as a Chelsea fan, because for the first time in a long time, we're going to get a coach who plays attractive football. You see, I'm still skeptical though, because I know with that kind of football it takes time for it to be implemented. I mean, look at Pep at City. It took him time for him to really get that style of football going. It took spending loads of money to get the right defenders for Pep, to sort out the means, sort out the goalkeeping position. I mean, so are we ready for that as Chelsea? Are we ready to suffer? And I think with us and Potter, it will be quick, and the media will be quick to jump onto Potter if things don't work out in the first 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. It's going to be quite interesting to see how he adapts to Chelsea, adapts to a bigger club. You see, with City and Pep, Pep was and is still is a top coach. When he came into City, he was wanted by a lot of teams. When he went to Bayern, he was wanted by a lot of teams. So obviously, City wasn't bigger than Pep. But I can safely say that Chelsea is a bigger institution than Graham Potter by far. It's just the gap is too wide. And the pressures at Chelsea, or maybe I'm still living in the old regime where we got used to being spoiled and winning trophies, and we knew that our owner at the time, Roman, he wanted that from his coaches to always deliver. At times to compromise even the style of football they played, just as long as it's rewarding. It's rewarding at the end of the season or during the season when there's a cup final and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how Todd really handles that kind of pressure. Does he try to get a trophy over the line as quick as possible, just like Arteta did at Arsenal by winning that FA Cup versus Lampard, of course, another heartbreak. That FA Cup did buy Arteta some time. So it'll be interesting to see how Potter goes about with the season, his priorities. Is it philosophy over quick success, or I hope it will be philosophy over quick success, because we do need to build a 21st century team now. We do need to build a team which when you're watching them play, you can sit and be on your edge of the seat because of the quality of football, the attacking football. If you watch Brighton a lot, yeah, they do play like Bayern Munich. Now I'm joking. If you watch Brighton a lot, you will see that they create chance after chance after chance. They don't have the striking force, which I think, yeah, Chelsea doesn't have. But then Aubameyang is head and shoulders above what they have as in striker options at Brighton. And also, I think it's difficult to argue with quality at Chelsea, especially in some parts of our team. At this point in time, I would say the current fit midfielders of Chelsea, are they really better than Brighton's midfield when you think about it? Yeah, if Kante gets fit and then he comes in and then Kova is 100% fit, then you might slightly edge towards Chelsea. But then the current crop of midfielders we have, I don't think they're that much better than Brighton's midfielders, to be honest. So it is going to be interesting because you see Brighton always dominate that middle part of the area. Like they always have a cold holding midfielder. I think it's Casuedo at the moment. I'm not sure of the name, but it was the guy who went to Spurs who was also the holder. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how he does that. He deals with that portion of the team, obviously. And what I'm interested to see is how he handles players like Jorginho, who at times they need a system for them to perform. If you look at Jorginho, he's not the individual brilliant player that can just change a game like that. If you look at how he plays for Italy with Verratti next to him, and then he performs well. If you see how his partnership with Kante always works, because Kante is that extra workhorse in the midfield. He runs box to box. He does a lot of stuff with Jorginho. Jorginho can't tackle, let's be honest. He can't put in a challenge. But then when you give him the ball, he can move it around swiftly. And I wish we could assist more with numbers and statistics of him. The final passes to the final third, creating chances. But then we are shown for the past, I think, four seasons or so, 5 seasons, he's been here that is not that kind of a player. So hopefully Graham Potter will identify something. What I would love to see, I think what I would love to see with Graham Potter is him doing what Sarri did when Sarri came and almost trying to convert Kante into something else. I'd like to see Potter do that with some of our players, because some of the players have become too narrow-minded, if I may use that word, with no disrespect of what they're supposed to do for the team. That's how when things go bad at Chelsea, they go bad. When you get a beating, the team looks disorganized because the players at times they don't work as a unit. And you've seen with Brighton, they move as a unit, they defend, they attack as a unit. The front three is always fluid if it's a front two, and it's interesting because Potter likes interchanging between a long striker and at times two strikers up front. So I guess that's a good thing for Aubameyang to play next to Broja, or even Harvest to be dropping deep and play with a partnership with Aubameyang. Like I said on last night video, I hope Graham Potter does give everyone a chance. I hope even the youth players who are coming through, they do get a chance. They do try to break into the, if they're good enough, of course. We don't want them to play just because they're Chelsea youths. I mean, we do loan our players, so if they don't perform, we can loan them out or sell them to Crystal Palace or Brighton, who seem like they're the clubs which we trade with at the moment. So it's going to be quite interesting though to see what Chelsea is going to be like under the new leadership, because I've seen on reports that he came with almost half, if not all, of his staff from Brighton to come and assist him on this job, and he's going to need them because now he's dealing with players who are on ridiculous wages. He's dealing with players who are not going to be happy they don't play or every game week. You know, with Brighton, with Brighton you could see that he had a set players he used to play regularly. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes about with that at Chelsea, because we do have a lot of players, unfortunately, and some are just duplicates in the wrong positions. You know, we have so many defenders now, I believe. We have a lot of midfielders, but they're not these particular midfielders we need to bolster our midfield. That's why when Kante is out, when Kovacic is out, then everything seems bleak. I hope I hope he gets to fix that. And you know, when you think of Chelsea now, obviously I said yesterday we concede a lot. I want to see him put an end to that. I really want to, because he's working with a really better defense, or talent in defense. So I really want to see him shut that door. Like, just stop the bleeding, stop us conceding from set pieces, because that's our Achilles heel at the moment. That's the strangest thing Chelsea does, is concede or set pieces. So it's going to be interesting, man. I can't wait. I personally can't wait to see what he does against Fulham this weekend. I know he's got like 24 hours to have a look at the team and select a good 11 that hopefully will be able to beat Brighton to beat Fulham when the game is on Saturday. And I think it's the half one kickoff on Saturday. It's going to be interesting though, because Fulham are a hustling team. They can harass you. They can put you under pressure. If you want physicality, as you saw against Liverpool, first game of the season, if you want physicality, they will give you physicality. And if they can whip balls into the box, and you know Mitrovic is good in the air. So I'm actually waiting for that game now. I am really waiting for that game to see how Mitrovic is going to target our back three, if Potter goes to a back three, or if he decides to go with a back five or a back four. It's going to be interesting now. I think it's fun times ahead at Chelsea. For me personally, with the kind of manager we've bought in place, I don't expect us to obviously challenge for the title. I think that's out of the picture at the present moment. I don't expect us to win any silverware, if I'm being honest with you. But I want us to fight for the top four. I do want us to go for the top four. With him trying to change the philosophy. Yes, he didn't have a preseason, but then I want him to try and give it his all so that he does get the top four. Because we do need Champions League football if we're going to attract any bigger players than we already have, because we do need to build our midfield. And it's going to be interesting because there's so many games coming up. Like from now till the World Cup, we almost play a week, two games a week. So that's going to be a massive football we're going to have to play. It's going to be massive football we're going to have to play for us to even challenge top four. Because as things stand, I think it's safe to say there's only one sport, top four sport, which is still like realistically or still achievable. I mean, if you give one to City, Spurs and Arsenal, it's us, Man U and Liverpool trying to battle for that other one. I hope we can take some of those top three teams down a bit, and then we kick on from there. But it's going to be quite interesting. And looking at our fixtures, Chelsea, looking forward to our fixtures. We do play Liverpool in not so long. In the near future, we do play Liverpool, yeah. I think we have a game against Liverpool coming up, maybe the next 2 or 3 game weeks. So it's going to be interesting how we're going to play that match, because I think it's going to be a huge game. Whoever loses that game, top 4 becomes slimmer. Yeah, it does become slimmer. So, obviously, if you think about it, it does have a big job on his hands. And like I was saying, this is new waters for us. We don't know what Todd Boehly is like as a football owner. What if the first 6 months things go bad for Graham Potter? The party is shut down quickly. What happens then? Does he pull the trigger, or does he stick to his guns and give him like the whole season to try and shape the team and build for next season? Because the last thing I want is for us to do a Man United where we completely write off a season before it even like gets going, you know. It's just a pity that most of our players go on international duty for the World Cup. I would have loved if maybe half of the team, I think Oba might be the, obviously they'll be watching the World Cup, but then I would love for him to get, those few extra weeks to work on his tactics and try and build more players. And with the World Cup coming up, I think January transfer window becomes more interesting, because the players who can perform from unknown leagues. For example, I think we need a central midfielder. Imagine if a player from one of the low-laden countries which is going to the World Cup performs at that DM position, and then he proves it's really good. We just go and buy him. It's going to be interesting again to see the kind of people, kind of players Graham Potter will want in his team. Like when the transfer market opens, who is he going to buy? How is he going to buy? Is he going to be given the funds Tuchel was given? Like, obviously, I don't expect us to spend 250 every transfer window, or especially the June July transfer windows. I don't expect us. I know in UK they say the summer transfer window, but this side is winter, eh? So the winter transfer window, yes. I don't expect us to spend that kind of money every transfer window, but I think realistically, the January transfer window, we do need a midfielder, and depending on how Aubameyang plays, that number 9. I think we will need another number 9. But if he performs, then definitely have to get a creative midfielder. Even if he doesn't perform, and I think about it now, even if he doesn't perform, we do need to get a creative midfielder. Like I said, I put out a tweet some other time saying that I wouldn't mind a player like Maddison at Chelsea. Especially if you have Kante, Feet, and Kovacic, those players can protect a natural number 10. For someone to just create and move the ball around in the final third and create chances. I'd rather have our strikers miss those Timo Werner chances, the ones he used to miss. I would prefer that than for us to create one chance and then Oba misses it, or Kai Havertz misses it, or Broja misses it, and then that's the chance of the game. And we end up losing or drawing that match, because we did drop a lot of points last season on silly draws, if you think about it. And we did draw at Brighton twice, I think, which I think at Bridge they scored in the dying minutes of the game, and away it was another draw. Yeah, it was another draw. So we did need to do better against smaller teams. Graham Potter needs to teach this team how to break down smaller teams. You remember that game not so long ago against Southampton? We did dominate some parts of it, like especially the first half, but then I think we went down. I think it was level at half time, and we ended up losing the match. So we need to work on that. And even against bigger teams. What I want from Graham Potter this season, one of the key things, is for him to beat Manchester United. We haven't won at Old Trafford against United in a long time. We got our asses handed to us. Our behinds. We got our behinds handed us to us by when Conte was around. Did we lose when Sarri was around? I don't think so. I'm not sure anymore. But when Lampard was around, I think his first game was a 4-0 drubbing at United. We haven't beaten United at Stamford Bridge in a long time. So that needs to be corrected. We need to win against United. We need to beat Liverpool. I know we did beat Liverpool that season when everything was on lockdown. But then for me, that wasn't good enough. Last season it was 2 draws and they beat us in 2 cup finals. We need to also try, and even if we can beat City, like we need to try and get a positive result versus City, like convincing result versus City. Then I'll believe that he is transforming. Because if you look at United, and what Ten Hag has done. He has got a result against Arsenal and Liverpool already. That's two of the big six of, okay, he has to play 5 of them, but he's already beaten 2 of them. That's a good start for him. Games I thought after those first 2 games of Man United, they were going to lose convincingly. So Graham Potter has to try and emulate that. There's no other way about it. He has to try and make sure we don't lose those big games. If we're going to lose them, I'll accept maybe a 1-0 defeat with the team missing chances. Then I'll be able to say, yeah, we did lose, but then we created good chances. But then if we just get dominated, that's going to be a concern for me. And to end this video, the final concern I have is, how long does it take? How long does the philosophy take? I hope it's a 6 months to a full season project. I really hope so. I don't want a 2-3 year plan where we're still trying to build the perfect team, because City won't stand still, Liverpool won't stand still, Arsenal are moving, Man United are starting to look serious. So we can't afford to say it's a 3-year plan, because that 3 years will always be 3 years behind, if you get what I'm saying. It's not like we're going to improve and close the gap on City when they're standing still, because City will never stand still. Especially if they don't win the Champions League this season again. They'll go again, maybe get another midfield, get another defense, they can't get another Haaland, fortunately for us. But then we do need to try and close the gap on City very fast, on Liverpool very fast, on Arsenal. I can't believe I'm saying Arsenal, but then we do need to try and close that gap, especially performance-wise, you know. Even if we're going to lose matches under Graham Potter, I want us to lose in style. Like, don't just give us a lackluster performance and then the players seem like they're okay, the manager is giving us excuses after. It's going to be something else. And I think I have to raise this point. I'm interested in finding out, like, it's going to be fun to see how the British media, your TalkSport, your Sky Sports, your Premier League, your journalists, your former players are going to react to when Potter is finally like, okay, he is the head coach of Chelsea, but then he's sitting in the dugout and then the team gets destroyed. Will they also throw him on the bus? Will they be too critical of him? Is it a bigger job for him? Did he move too soon? It's going to be interesting, because he is British, and we have seen, unfortunately, that at times British media does protect British managers to a certain extent. And Potter is, I think, for me, currently the best British manager. I would put him ahead of Ed Howe, put him ahead of Moyes. I'm not sure if Moyes is British, but yeah, I'll put him ahead of those guys. Obviously, the guy was at Bournemouth who got sacked. I'll put him ahead of Gerrard and Lampard. I think he is the best British manager at the moment, if I'm being honest with you. So it's going to be interesting to see, do they protect the national treasure, or they just treat him like any other coach, and if he does bad, or if his footballing is starting to play Chelsea is bad, they throw him under the bus. I mean, yeah, but fun times ahead. It's definitely Potter partying now. Now we have to get on the party bus, and hopefully Graham Potter will drive us to greener pastures. He'll drive us to a picnic where Chelsea are relaxing with the Champions League trophy, with the FA Cup, with the League One Cup, or even dare to dream the Premier League title. I mean, that would be beautiful, because it's going to be a weird season with the World Cup and all. So as long as you keep in touch with your cities and your Spurs, for me, I don't think Arsenal are there yet, although they're the best team at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see if we can keep in touch. You never know what happens after the World Cup. Maybe we can just go that extra mile and we end up leaving our wildest dream and becoming champions of England again. I mean, I'll prefer the Premier League, honestly, over the Champions League. I know the Champions League, we can always brag about it more, you know. But I'd want the Premier League for him to win that title of the Premier League. I think that would be dope. That would be great. That would be awesome. But then I think it's just wishes now at this point. It's wishes at this point. But then the football he has played at Brighton, if he can bring that football and get better players and better resources and better money behind him at Chelsea, a better money spending team as we've seen now, I think he can create something special, he can create something magical. And it's going to be interesting, because Man United on the rise. I fully expect Chelsea to be also on the rise under Graham Potter. Like, for me, I haven't seen a game where Brighton played really badly. I don't watch all their games, but then I've never seen a game where they're like totally crap. It hasn't happened before, so I hope it doesn't happen with Chelsea, because we have seen with Chelsea players that every manager gets to have that bad season. Be it Mourinho, Conte, be it Lampard, be it even Tuchel now. Every manager seems to get that. So I hope Chelsea players now will just kick on and try and get, if you can get the best out of Mount, out of Koulibaly, out of Havertz, and if you can get Oba scoring and firing again, then Chelsea will be back. Mendy and Kepa, let me call him Kepa, his surname is just wild. Those are my biggest concerns right now. And the defense is a bit shaky, but then the goalkeeping position, if you can get into Mendy's head and make sure that his sharp there, his distribution is now on point, his shot stopping is now on point, then Chelsea can become a force to be reckoned with. Anyway, guys, this has been fun. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I'm your host, Ronald M. Cheers. See you next time.